Hey everyone. So there's a specific topic that I wanted to make a video on for the simple purpose of it was something I was experiencing during my life, and then I noticed a difference when I came into my Ascension journey. And when I used to Google it and try to figure out what was going on with me, nothing popped up. So I want to be that person to speak on this topic. So if there's anyone in the future who's trying to figure out what's going on with their body and everything, that they have somebody that they could relate to. So most of my followers probably won't relate to this video, but for the one person out there in the future that researches this and wants to know what's going on with their body and stuff, they'll have somebody to share that experience with and won't feel so alone. So I'm going to put this on my channel for that purpose. And what I want to talk about is a condition called vasovagal syncope, which is basically just chronic fainting. And since I was 8 years old, I would randomly just pass out, fall out, come unconscious. And until I was 26 years old, I was undiagnosed. I went to the doctor several different times throughout the period. Finally, it happened so much, not so much, but I would say like once every couple months. It would happen that often that I just figured out how to deal with it. If I felt it coming on, I would just like sit down or lay down. I would know. I got to the point as a teenager, well, maybe more into my early 20s, where I could catch it. I was still kind of falling out in the worst places ever, like the bathroom where there's like a hard floor and you could hurt yourself, like, because I would not catch it. But once I became, I would say once I became an adult, I figured out what was I could read my body. So basically, yeah, I would go to the doctor. They would do a bunch of blood tests and stuff. They would do heart tests, all that kind of stuff. They could never figure out what was wrong. I would just pass out all the time. And when I was 26 years old, I went to, because at the time my ex-husband was in the military, and I went to a military doctor who had a patient that had a similar issue, but it was like more extreme, because when this individual passed out, they would be out for like more than a minute. So every time I passed out, I'd be out for like, I don't know, not very long, maybe 20, 30 seconds, and then I pop out of it and then eat something salty to bring my blood pressure up and all that. Yeah, so I finally got diagnosed as an adult. But what I noticed is when I was about 28, I would say 27 going into 28, is when I started to become conscious of my ascension. Like, I knew I was ascending. Of course, we're ascending all along, we're growing, we're purging. But I became conscious of the fact that I was ascending. And when I realized, all of a sudden, I was like, every time I feel like I have to pass out, I don't actually pass out anymore. It was like almost like I could, like, now I can, like, I'll feel those feelings, but I walk right through it. It's like it's nothing. And so what I have been asking my higher self all along, like, what is this? What is this? Bring me clarity on what this is, because I know that my ascension is affecting it in a positive way. Like, I'm not getting hurt anymore. Like, you know what I mean? And so basically what came through and what has come through over time, because I've kind of got trickles of information over time, was that basically when you pass out and you have these like vasovagal attacks, I guess is what they like to call them, but basically it's just something triggers you to pass out, which is what the doctors told me. And mind you, I am not a medical professional. I'm just sharing my experience with you. So if you're a nurse or a doctor or whatever and you have an opinion on this, that's fine. This is my experience, and this is what the information I've been given. So basically, when you pass out or you get triggered, your blood pressure will spike low. So for me, a lot of those times where I didn't eat enough, I was out in the sun, I like get up too fast, but that's really, I'll feel those feelings, but I never really pass out from getting up too fast. That wasn't really a trigger, but like I would feel those feelings if it happened. Getting my blood taken, getting a tattoo, all these things that normally a lot of people could get triggered to pass out. Similar things for me. Even a really hot shower or a hot tub, like, it would, like, I couldn't do it. Even if I had a full meal in my belly, like, I would get into a hot tub and I'd be like, okay, I can only be in here for like 30 seconds and I have to get out. So basically what they're saying is that when you pass out, your blood pressure spikes low. Well, I already always have a pretty low blood pressure. I have a healthy blood pressure, but it's on the lower side. And I've always been that way. I've always been a healthy person. I've ate right. I've been active my entire life, an athlete and everything. So there was no reason for me to like not be healthy or anything like that. So when I noticed that when I my vibration started raising, when I became conscious of my ascension and I really started to grow, another thing that triggered it was sex, like almost every time. So like I literally would just have to lay there and my whole body would feel like it was buzzing, like when you feel like your hands or your feet are asleep. Not every time, but almost every single time before I was conscious of my ascension, even kind of once in a while during my ascension. And I just think maybe it's just like my vibration raising. You know, when you have an orgasm or something, your vibration would raise. That just makes sense. But yeah, so my vibration would go low, and then what my higher self had brought in is just like put the pieces of the puzzle together, Kelsey. When you're deep in a meditation, think about this. You get to the point where your heart slows down, you're breathing much more slowly, especially if you get in that detached space. Your vibration raises. When your vibration raises, you're a light body. That's why when you don't eat enough, you feel light, and to the point where your physical body can't handle it, so you'll pass out. You feel that anytime you feel that dizziness, it's that in between that your vibration will raise. In my case, that's what it was. And it was like I couldn't handle, my body, my physical body couldn't handle that high of a vibration. And so as I've ascended and I've integrated these energies and anchored myself in the 4D, tapping into the 5D all the time, you know, I've become able to, my physical body is now able to handle these, which is why I do not pass out anymore. I haven't passed out in like 2 years, at least 2 years, maybe more. The farther along I get in my ascension journey, the less I experience it at all. And, you know, the only time I really feel it is like if I'm fasting, my body's super light, you know. I don't fast very often, though. I just don't feel like it's necessary. My body tells me what is necessary in any given moment. And that's just the thing about ascension. Like, people are asking all these questions, like, what should I eat? What should I do? And they're trying to force, and like even decalcifying your pineal gland. I heard Lori Ladd talking about that earlier in one of her videos. Your body is trying, when you're doing all, like, it's cool to do research if you feel inspired to do that research. That might be your higher self telling you, okay, this is what I need to take now. During this stage of my ascension journey, in this moment, this is the information I need and that I'm given. But a lot of times we try to force it. We try to force ourselves into this Kundalini awakening. We try to force ourselves into decalcifying our pineal gland. Your body, ascension is a natural, organic thing. It is going to happen without you planning it out. Your mind tries to lead the way when we need to let our intuition and our higher self lead the way. So these things are going to organically happen. Just like I've organically come out of this vasovagal syncope thing that I had been going through since I was a child. And now, like, I'm to the point where I can handle these frequencies. I can handle this higher vibration. And my body has integrated all of this energy. And I'm able to move through it and move through it in a smooth way. And I feel like it was kind of, it was cool that I experienced that my whole life. Because then I could make these connections later and I can make more sense of spirituality and all of this quantum stuff and everything that comes in. We want to make sense of it. So if we have these experiences and then we get this clarity, it helps us make sense of our ascension journey. And so if anyone out there is dealing with this, I just wanted to put this out there so you know that you're not alone. And that this happened to me, and then this is possibly the reason why it's happening to you. Maybe it's not. This is just my experience. So maybe if it can bring more clarity to you, that's beautiful. I mean, I would scare people passing out. I didn't like going through this thing, or I would get hurt or something. It's like I'm talking about it in a light way, but it was more serious of an issue for me because like I couldn't even give, like in high school, I remember I gave blood one time, and I had given blood before and not passed out. It wasn't like an always, it's weird. It wasn't an always thing. It was out of nowhere. So one day I gave blood and I'm sitting there passed out in high school, and like one of my basketball teammates, who was also my friend at the time, was next to me, and she was like crying and scared. Like she thought something was happening to me. And it was just like, you keep going to the doctor and they don't know what's wrong with you. And so you go till you're 26 years old and you have this like externally looks like something serious going on with you, and and you hear these stories like people have these mysterious diseases and then end up, you know, like these rare things happen to them. And I don't want anyone else to feel alone. I want you to know that if you're on this spiritual journey and that's happening to you, it could be similar to what happened to me, so you'd have someone to relate to. So yeah, that's the reason I wanted to put this out there. So if it brings anyone clarity, then awesome. If not, that's okay too. At least it's out there. I love you guys. And if you have any questions or comments, or if you've experienced this too, please, if you've experienced this too, put it in the comments, because I've been waiting to see if anyone else out there that's going on this ascension journey, any other light workers, have experienced this and what their take is on it. Because this is just my perspective, and if there's more to it, I definitely would love to know. So that's another reason why I would I'm putting this video out there, because I want to know more about it too. This is just a vague, some vague description of the clarity I got from my higher self, but I feel like maybe there is more to it. Who knows? But the more we share with each other, the better. So yeah, leave a comment. Like and subscribe. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on here just look up Kelsey Franks, and my website is kelseyfranks.com if you're interested in any of my services. I love you guys, and I hope this video helps someone.